Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, then pronouns to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining in. We are studying Srila Prabhupada's book Raja Vidya, the King of Knowledge. We'll start with prayers. Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Gurupadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaurudushe Namaha Panchatattva Atmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tarale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatrapatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatharinam Paramanandamadavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tatsat. Hare Krishna. So, Dandavat Pranams to all the devotees. Again, I welcome all of you for the study of Srila Prabhupada's book, Raja Vidya, the King of all knowledge, the King of knowledge. So, Prabhupada starts this chapter by quoting 9th chapter, right? Where it says, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram Idamuttamam, Pratyaksha Dharmyam, Susukam Kartum Avyayam. Right? Raja Vidya, this is the King of all knowledge. Raja Guhyam, this is the secret of all secrets. It's a confidential secret, right? Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram, it is most pure. Idam Uttamam, this is the supreme transcendental knowledge. Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam, Susukam Kartum Avyayam. Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam. So this is the dharma. What is the dharma of the soul? Is to serve. And what is the supreme transcendental knowledge? To serve that supreme personality of Godhead. And it is Susukam Kartum Avyayam. It is joyfully performed. So this is how Prabhupada starts this chapter. And then we went on to see how Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, right? We are all, we studied about this verse, Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam, Eko Bahunam, Yo Vidadati Kaman. It means we are all eternally living entities. We all have forms, right? And the Supreme Lord is the supreme of all the living entities, right? Nityo Nityanam, we are all Nityo, we are all Nitya, we are all eternal. Right? Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. But there is one supreme personality of Godhead who is also a living entity. But he is the supreme amongst all living beings, and he is the maintainer of all the other living entities who are also eternal. So that's what it says. Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. And then we also read about another important quality of the Lord, that he is Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu. Name Dvesho Sinapriyaha. He is equal to everybody. Name Dvesho Sinapriyaha. That means he is not envious of anybody, nor is anybody dear to him. But Ye Bhajanti tu Mam Bhaktya Mayi Teshu Chapyam. Right? Krishna is not partial, but to those devotees who render service to Krishna, Krishna is favorably inclined towards them. Right? And Prabhupada explains how even in our normal dealing, right, when somebody is helping us a lot, then automatically we favor that person, right? For example, a mother, right, is having say 4 children, right? And one of the child is obeying the mother and helping the other three children also, do the work at home or help the mother like that. Then the mother is favorably inclined towards this one child who is helping the others also. Does not mean that this child is only favorite. Yeah, the mother does not like the other children. No, it is not like that. Mother loves all the four children. However, the most responsible person who is helping out with all the work in the house, then the mother gives more responsibility to that child, right? Asking that child to take care of the other three, to engage them in the service, like that. So, similarly, although the Lord is equal to everybody, those who are engaged in devotional service are especially preferred by the Lord to do more and more devotional service, right? Because they have dedicated their lives in serving Krishna, right? So, Prabhupada says, although Krishna is neutral to all, those who are spreading the message of Bhagavad Gita, they are especially dear to Krishna. Like Krishna mentioned that in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita also. All right. So let's continue reading. Anyone who would like to read? Yes, Karpavali Mataji, go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandat Pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dandat Pranam, yes.
Although Krishna is neutral to all, for one who is constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness, who is spreading the message of the Bhagavad Gita, he gives special protection. It is Sri Krishna's promise that his devotees shall never perish. Kaunteya Prati Janihi Name Bhakti.
Janihi means no, right? Janna, right? In Hindi they say. Janna means to know something. Kaunteya Prati Janihi Name Bhaktah Pranashyati. My devotee is never destroyed.
Bhagavad Gita 9.31. Not only does Krishna come to protect and save his devotees, but he also comes to destroy the wicked. Vinasaya cha duskritam. Krishna wanted to establish Arjuna and the 5 Pandavas, who were the most pious Kshatriyas and devotees as rulers of the world. And he also wanted to vanquish the aesthetic party of Duryodhana. And as mentioned, atheistic party
means demon. Yeah.
Atheistic party of Duryodhana. And as mentioned before, a third reason for his coming to establish real religion, Dharma Samsthapanataya. Thus, Sri Krishna's purpose for coming is threefold. He protects his devotees, vanquishes the demonic, and establishes the real religion of the living entity. He comes not only once, but many, many times. Sambhavami, but because this material world is such that in the course of time, after an adjustment is made, it will again deteriorate. The world is so conceived that even if we make a very good arrangement, it will gradually deteriorate. After World War I, an armistice was signed, and there was a short period of peace, but World War II soon came. And now that that is over, they are making preparation for World War III. This is the function of time, Kala, in the material world. We build up very nice house, and after 50 years, it deteriorates. After 100 years, it deteriorates. And even more. Similarly, when the body is young, people care for it, always lavishing affection on it and kissing it. But when it grows old, no one cares for it. This is the nature of the material world. Even if a very good adjustment is made, it will in course of time be vanquished. Therefore, adjustments are periodically required, and from age to age, the Supreme Lord or his Pira or his representative comes to make adjustment in the direction of civilization. Thus, Sri Krishna descends many times to establish or regenerate many different religions.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah. So, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthana madharmasya dadatmanam srijamiham. Right, to establish the principles of dharma, Lord Krishna appears. And paritranaya sadhunam. The three things I mentioned here. Paritranaya sadhunam, to protect the devotees. Vinashaya chadushkritam, to destroy the demons. And dharma samsthapanarthaya. Right, dharma samstha means to establish the dharma. What is the dharma? What is the dharma is to perform our duty that will enable us to reawaken our Krishna consciousness. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. In every yuga, Lord Krishna personally appears. Right. So in this way, Prabhupada is saying that Krishna descends many times to re-establish or to rejuvenate many different religions. Right. There may be different religions, but dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. But this is all these have their ultimate goal in trying to serve Krishna and to satisfy Krishna and to please Krishna. Right? Prabhupada was mentioning about how Christianity also, Jesus Christ said, I am the Son of God. Right? So various religious principles, right? In order to make our ritualistic practices spiritual, we have to understand the spirit of the rule. Otherwise, niyama agraha and niyama agraha. That is in nectar of instruction, Prabhupada Goswami mentions, right? Niyama agraha means to follow the rules and regulations, but not understanding the spirit behind the rule, right? I do it, I just do according to the letter of the rule, right? I do this, I don't do this. But we should understand the spirit, why we are doing it. Otherwise, it will become simply ritualistic. But we need to understand the spirit behind the rule, and that then it becomes spiritual, right? A ritual becomes with spirit or with the heart rendered with love and devotion when that ritual is performed. What is that ritual? Performing arati, doing chanting, right? It can be a mechanical also, but when we put our heart into it with love and devotion, when we do it for the pleasure of the Lord, then it becomes a spiritual activity. And that spiritual activity will enable us to attain our desired destination, which is Krishna Prem. So with that, we end our chapter. So let's move on quickly to chapter number 7. This chapter is entitled Knowledge as Faith in Guru and Surrender to Krishna. Yasya prasadat Bhagavad prasado. Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastra. All of the scriptures tell us there is no difference between Guru and Krishna. Right? As much faith as we have in our Guru, to that extent we will surrender to the instructions of Guru. When we surrender to the instructions of Guru, we surrender to Krishna. Okay. Leela Nandini Mataji, go ahead. Unmute Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Dandat Pranam. Yes, Mataji.
In the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna concludes that out of all sacrifices, the best is the acquisition of knowledge. Shreyan Dravya Mayad Yajnat Jnana Yajna Parantapa Sarvam Karma Khilam Partha Jnana Parishamape. O chastiser of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possessions. After all, O son of Pradha, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. Bhagavad Gita 4.33. Knowledge is the best sacrifice because this conditioned life is due to ignorance. The purpose of sacrifice, penance, yoga, and philosophical discussion is to acquire knowledge. There are 3 stages of transcendental knowledge by which one realizes the impersonal aspect of God, that is Brahman, the localized aspect of God within the heart and within every atom, Paramatma or Supersoul, and the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. But the very first step in acquiring knowledge is coming to understand that I am not this body but spirit soul. And my aim of life is to get out of this material entanglement. The point is that whatever sacrifice we make, it is intended to enable us to come to the point of real knowledge. The highest perfection of knowledge is given in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 7.19 as surrender to Krishna. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. The non-jnanavan, not the fool, surrenders to Krishna, and that is the highest stage of knowledge. Similarly, at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna advises Arjuna, Sarva dharmam parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja ahantam sarva papebhyo mokshissami vasuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. This is the most confidential part of knowledge. From all points of view, if we make an analytical study of the Vedic literatures, we will find that ultimate summit of knowledge is to surrender to Krishna. And what type of surrender is recommended? Surrender in full knowledge. When we come to the perfectional point, we must understand that Vasudeva, Krishna is everything. This is also confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So here, very, very important facts, right? Everything, right? What is that? Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. Everything becomes successful only when we perform activities for the pleasure of the Lord, and we do it in complete surrenderance to the Lord. Right? Prabhupada talks about the purport to Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Right? Krishna says, surrender unto me. Right? Aham Tuam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshishami Masachaha. I will protect you from all types of fear. Surrender unto me. And in the purport to 18.65 of Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada actually quotes this verse, Anukulyasya Sankalpa Pratikulyasya Varjana. Right? We perform activities which are favorable for devotional service, and we don't perform activities that don't enhance our devotional service. And there is what is that? Confidence in Krishna's protection, right? Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, right? We have to have complete faith and confidence that Krishna will protect me under all circumstances. That is surrender, right? And whomever we take shelter of throughout our life. Whenever we face with little difficulties, small difficulties, then whomever we are taking shelter of, right? Are we taking shelter of our money, our power, our position, our relatives, right? Or are we taking shelter of Krishna? Whatever happens, right? What is that verse which talks about Jeevet ye mukti pade sadayabak tatte nukampam susamikshmano gunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvadva purbir vidadan namaste Jeevet ye mukti pade sadayabak, right? Tatte nukampam susamikshmano Bunjana evatma kritam vipakam. Kritagnya means gratitude. When a person feels gratitude in spite of various sufferings or problems that is caused to him, he simply thinks that these problems are because of my previous karma, but I should get much higher problems because of my activities, right? What I've done, my karmas and my desires until now, I should be suffering much more and more. But Krishna is so merciful that Krishna is just giving me a token of the suffering that I'm entitled to. In this way, when a person expresses gratitude to the Lord, even in the time of suffering, right? Then Jeevetaye Mukti Padesa Dayavak. Living in this material world, one can actually be liberated. One can actually be transcendental to three modes of material nature. And such a position is very rarely attained, right? Prabhupada quotes this verse from Bhagavad Gita, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatmasu Durlabha. Some Mahatma, such great souls, are Durlabha, very rare. Such people are very rare. Who are those rare people? Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Right? To understand that Vasudeva is the cause of everything. Right? Whatever activities are performed have to be done for the pleasure of Vasudeva. To understand this is a very only a rare soul understands this, and such a great soul is very rare, right? One is rarity of such a soul, and secondly the greatness, right? Both of which are emphasized here. All right, so let's continue. Navikishori Mataji, you can go ahead. Yeah, this is confirmed in Brahma Samhita. Yeah, Mataji, you need to unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Thank you.
Yes. This is also confirmed.
This is confirmed, also confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidanandra Vigraha Anadira Adira Govinda Sarva Karana Karanama. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. Brahma Samhita 5.1. The word Sarva Karana indicates that Sri Krishna is the cause of all causes. If we search to see who the father of our father is and who his father is, and so on back, if it were somehow possible to trace our ancestry back through time, we would arrive at the Supreme Father, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, everyone wants to say God immediately, but we can say God when we are qualified and in perfect knowledge. We can say God eye to eye, just as we are seeing one another, but qualification is required, and the qualification is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness begins with a Shravanam, hearing about Krishna through the Bhagavad Gita and other Vedic literatures, and Kirtanam, repeating what we heard, and glorify Krishna by chanting his names. By chanting and hearing of Krishna, we can naturally associate with him, for he is absolutely none different from his names, quality, forms, and pastimes. As we associate with Krishna, he helps us to understand him and dispels the darkness of ignorance with the light of knowledge. Krishna is sitting within our hearts, acting as Guru. When we begin hearing topics about him, the dust that has accumulated on our minds due to so many years of material contamination becomes gradually cleaned. Krishna is a friend to everyone, but he is a special friend to his devotees. As soon as we become a little inclined towards him, he begins to give favorable instruction from within our heart so that we can gradually make progress. Krishna.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry,
Krishna
madam.
is the first spiritual master.
Krishna is the first spiritual masters, and when we become more interested in him, we have to go to a sadhu or a holy man who serves as the spiritual master from without. This is enjoined by Shri Krishna himself in the following verse. Tatvitti pranipatina परिप्रश्रेण सेवया उपादेक्षायन्ति तो जीननं ज्ञाननं ज्ञानी तत्त्वदर्शिनः. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Bhagavad Gita 4.31. It is the
4.34. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Krishna. Okay, very, very beautiful. So many points in this particular paragraph by Prabhupada. Right, let's start from the beginning. Right, first is Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govindaha. Prabhupada is emphasizing on Sarva Karana Karanam. Right, there are so many controllers in this world. Right, like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, etc., in charge of various departments. However, Lord Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all the causes. Right. So Prabhupada is talking about how we know that our parents are our cause, and their parents, their parents are the cause of our parents. Like that, if we trace back, we will know that originally Krishna is the cause of all causes, right? Krishna himself tells in Bhagavad Gita, Aham bija prajapitha, right? I am the seed-giving father of all the living entities, right? That's what Prabhupada is saying here, that he is the cause of all the causes. We may have so many immediate causes, we may have some remote causes, but the original cause is the Krishna himself, right? Secondly, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hrideshu Vilokayanti. Right? Prabhupada is saying we all want to see God, but have we developed the qualification to see God? We have not developed the qualification. What is that qualification? The qualification is to completely surrender to the Lord. And how do we get to the point of surrender to the Lord? By hearing about Krishna, by chanting about Krishna, by always remembering Krishna, right? Nama Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasavigraha, Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto, Abhinatva Nama Namino. Right? Now, Abhinatva means there is no difference between Nama and Namino. That means between Krishna and his holy names, there is no difference. So when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Madhurya, everything will be revealed in the heart of the devotee. Right? The more we associate with Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, the more Krishna will remove the darkness in our heart. Right? We are all here because of ignorance and envy. Right? Why are we envious? Even when we are envious, it is because of ignorance. Right? Because we are envious of somebody, thinking that that person is better than me. Why I don't have what he has? But you don't understand. That is also because of ignorance. What is the ignorance? Krishna is the supreme proprietor of everything. Whatever anybody has, they have been allotted that particular property by Lord Shri Krishna himself. We've also been assigned certain properties, certain resources, certain skills by Lord Shri Krishna. So what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to utilize the skills that we have in the service of the Lord, rather than see what other people have and we become envious of them. Right? And we have increased our envy to such an extent we become envious of the Lord himself. And that is why we are sadhawing, or we are suffering in this material world, isn't it? But as soon as we start hearing topics about Krishna, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, when we perform these processes of bhakti, then our heart becomes automatically cleansed. Cheto Darpana marjanam. Then the last anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. Everything is removed. And then we understand that we need to surrender to Krishna. Okay, I know I have to surrender to Krishna, but I don't know how to surrender to Krishna. I don't know what are Krishna's instructions. So, Prabhupada mentions Krishna's words from Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. I want to surrender to Krishna, but I don't know how to surrender to Krishna. So I take the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master who's coming in one of the 4 bona fide paramparas, hear from him with a submissive mind, with a submissive attitude, and ask questions in a very submissive way without challenging, right? And jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. The spiritual master can reveal the transcendental knowledge to us. Why? Because he has already seen the truth. He is tattvadarshinaha. He's already seen the truth. The knowledge is already revealed in his heart, and he is going to light the lamp of transcendental knowledge in our hearts and removing our ignorance. Okay, so anyone else wants to read this last paragraph? We'll end with this. It is necessary. Okay, let me read. Okay, Karpagavali Mataji, go ahead. It is necessary to select.
Yes, Mataji. It is necessary to select a person to whom we can surrender ourselves. Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes, go ahead.
Of course, no one likes to surrender to anyone. We are puffed up with whatever knowledge we have, and our attitude is, oh no, who can give me knowledge? Some people say that for spiritual realization, there is no need for a spiritual master. But so far as the Vedic literature is concerned, and as far as the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Upanishads are concerned, there is a need for a spiritual master. Even in the material world, if one wants to learn to be a musician, he has to search out a musician to teach him, or if he wants to be an engineer, he has to go to a technological college and learn from those who know the technology. Nor can anyone become a doctor by simply purchasing a book from the market and reading it at home. One has to be admitted to a medical college and undergo training by licensed doctors. It is not possible to learn any major subject simply by purchasing books and reading them at home. Someone is needed to show us how to apply the knowledge found in the books. As far as the science of God is concerned, Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, advises us to go to a person to whom we can surrender. This means that we have to check to see if a person is capable of giving instructions on the Bhagavad Gita and other literatures of God realization. It is not that we are to search out a spiritual master whimsically. We should be very serious to find a person who is actually in knowledge of the subject. Shall I continue?
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, we'll end here. Yeah, so very important points, right? We always give this example, what Prabhupada gives in many of his lectures also, right? If you want to become a musician, we go to a music teacher. If you want to draw nicely, we go to an art teacher, right? Now, if you're going to school to understand what is ABCD, to read books, etc., when to normal material knowledge itself, when we are going to teach us that knowledge, to give us that knowledge, why are we not just purchasing the books and studying at home, right? Because why are we sending our children to school? Because the proper knowledge can be disseminated and understood only by the process of hearing. Similarly, the transcendental subject matters also. Even more hearing has to be done, more faith has to be placed. And that way, when we try to understand from bona fide spiritual master, then only our ignorance can be removed. And when our ignorance is removed, then we understand that I have to surrender to the spiritual master. Surrender to the spiritual master is equal to surrender to Krishna. Because the spiritual master is going to give us personalized instructions. What I can do, what I cannot do, what I should not do. Otherwise, what is there in the Vedic scriptures are generalized instructions. Right? To do's and not to do's, right? Don't do meat eating, gambling, intoxication, illicit sex. Do minimum 16 rounds of chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, right? Yajnatat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Perform every activity for the satisfaction of the Lord. These are general principles. These are there in the Vedic scriptures. But to understand the real purport of the Vedic scriptures, we need a teacher. That is why Krishna himself took a guru, right? Krishna learned from Sandipani Muni, right? And all stages, Krishna is always saying that take up a bona fide spiritual master and surrender to that spiritual master. When the spiritual master is pleased, automatically he will reveal the transcendental knowledge in your heart. So this is the formula to understand transcendental subject matters. We cannot understand transcendental subject matters by our own mental speculation, our own material intelligence, not possible to understand, right? Atha Sri Krishna Nama Adi Na Bhaved Grahyam Indriyahi Sevon Mukhehi Jivvadav Swayameva Suratyadaha. Right? Atha Sri Krishna Nama Adi. Nama Adi means Nama Rupa Guna Lila. Right? Na Bhaved Grahyam Indriyahi. With our senses, with our material senses, we cannot understand the transcendental qualities of the Lord. But Sevon Mukhehi Jivvadav. By simply engaging in the service of the Lord, Swayameva Suratyadaha. Jiva means tongue, right? By engaging our tongue in the service of the Lord, by chanting Hare Krishna and by honoring Krishna Prasadam, Swayameva Suratyadaha. When the Lord is pleased by our services, the Lord will reveal himself to us. And this will mark the beginning of obtaining transcendental knowledge. Right? And with this transcendental knowledge, our ignorance is removed. And when the ignorance is removed, then we can properly engage in devotional service to the Lord. Yeah. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koji Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So thank you very much. Let's see who all we have today. Karpagavali Mataji is there, Vijayalakshmi Priya Mataji is there, Sarvagopeshwari Mataji is there. Okay, thank you very much. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. So meet you tomorrow morning 5 o'clock for Brahma Muhurta chanting, and then we'll meet you all in the evening 6 o'clock. From Monday onwards, we'll try to do it a little early. So if there is a change in another schedule, probably we'll meet at 12:15. That's what is my plan. So let's see how it works. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, today is Thursday, so tomorrow we'll meet at 6 o'clock as usual. From Monday, there might be a change in time because a lot of devotees are writing to me, keep it in the afternoon, like that. So let's see if you can keep it at 12:15. Vijayalakshmi Priya Mataji will be okay for you, or it will be too late? Yeah, everyone can unmute themselves now. Mataji will be too late for you, right? Early for you. You have to unmute yourself.
I'll try to attend, Mataji.
Okay. Well, it will be too early for you in the morning time?
12:30 means it is going to be 1 o'clock over here. Night.
1 o'clock night.
Oh.
1 o'clock.
Okay, Mataji, I'll attend.
Okay, so we'll see what we can do. Otherwise, but even then, even if we keep it 4 o'clock, now it is what, 6 o'clock there in the morning?
It is 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Okay. Okay, we'll see. Otherwise, we can keep it at say 3:30 like that. Okay, we'll see. We'll keep a poll and then we'll see. Maximum devotees will see.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Mataji, it's auspicious, no, Mataji, this time.
Anytime we read Prabhupada's books is auspicious. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.